What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you my first deck of Lost Thunder, centered around Lugia-GX. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, helps us out a ton, and let's do more cool stuff for you guys. And also, if you have not done so already, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord that will be linked in the description, where we do have channels for all different facets of Pokemon. And finally, as for the question of the day, so Lost Thunder just came out, and there's a whole situation around this video that I'll explain in a little bit. But either way, Lost Thunder came out on Thursday, and normally I try to get a video out for you guys immediately, but like I said, the aforementioned situation occurred, and so I was not able to do so until today. But given that it's been out for a little while, what card are you guys most excited about from Lost Thunder, and why? If you had to ask me, I'd probably say that the card that I'm most excited about, most looking forward to, is probably Zeraora GX. Now, I know that it's, I don't know, it seems like one of those cards that is almost too much hype. Like, it's a good card, but it's not going to be, like, meta-defining or anything like that. So I think it's going to be solid, but I don't think the hype, or I don't think it's quite going to live up to the hype. However, that being said, I still really like it. Like, I just enjoy the design of Zeraora as a mon in general. I think the card is very cool, giving free retreat, be able to accelerate energy, and also hit decently hard, especially with the new item that lightning types have to be able to boost their power output by 30, in addition with, like, Choice Band and whatnot. So I'm excited for Zeraora, and I can't wait to do a deck centered around that. But either way, onto the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Lugia-GX, and the situation that I was talking about. So, normally I pride myself on getting a video for a new set out the day that a set comes out. However, with this recent set, like, I've been having trouble with my codes recently getting them on time. Well, this one didn't just not come on time. It came 2 days later than it was supposed to. So that was a little bit frustrating. And today is generally supposed to be Johnny's day, like we alternate Sundays. So Johnny had a video ready to go, but then right before he was about to upload it, then it just kind of sort of deleted all of his audio. So he was like, hey, Sticks, don't have a video today because of that. And I was like, oh, well, all right, guess I'm going to Lugia it up. So Johnny will be taking my spot on Tuesday, and I am bringing you a deck today. And also, you might be wondering, why am I doing Lugia-GX? It is probably the, I'll say, second or third most underwhelming card in, well, I guess not really. Second or third most underwhelming GX in Lost Thunder. Well, that's because I just kind of have a soft spot in my heart for Lugia-GX, or not Lugia-GX, but Lugia cards in general. I always try to find a way to make them work. And as soon as I saw this one, I was like, well, I mean, it could be okay. I mean, its GX attack is actually pretty nice, but then 4 energy hitting for 170, and then you can't use that attack next turn. Kind of a decent drawback, but it was one of those that, nope, it's a Lugia. I have to do a deck centered around Lugia, so that is the deck that I'm bringing you today. And also I decided on the Hyper Rare, or the Rainbow Rare rather, I guess it's both, because I ended up pulling 2 of them in the 50 packs that I opened immediately just to get all the commons and stuff, and I was like, well, let's just grab 1 more and call it a day. So anyway, on to the deck finally after like 3.5 minutes. Sorry about that. Actually, I think it's even 4 if you count the intro. Lugia has 3 attacks. I mean, first of all, 190 HP for a basic GX. That's very good. That's very bulky, just able to take hits, avoid certain one-hit KOs. Psychic for 3 energy. This attack does 30 more damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Well, you might notice that that's very similar to Oranguru's, and if your opponent has 3 energy on them, then Oranguru and Lugia do the exact same amount of damage. It's only once your opponent starts getting 4 energy and above on them that Lugia starts to out-damage Oranguru, which, quite frankly, is not really that worth it, because it's like, well, if I can just use Oranguru, then why not use Oranguru? So, agree with you there. However, the attack that I'm really centering this deck around is, Pelagic Blade, I believe. Pelagic? Pelago? Pelagic? I don't know. I'm going to say Pelagic or Pelagic, however you want to say it. I'm going to say it wrong more often than not, so I'm just going to accept it. But it does 170, and then you can't use it next turn. So, I mean, just a 170 with that being the only drawback is pretty solid, because you have ways to work around that in the form of Dawnwing's Necrozma. So that's really what I'm just going to try to do. Repeatedly attack with the P-Blade. I think I might just call it P-Blade so that I avoid saying it wrong for the rest of the video. But either way, just that's what it's centered around. And then Lost Purge. For 3 energy, you put your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the Lost Zone. Very, very solid for kind of a stall type of attack. Just like, okay, my opponent's active Pokemon is way too set up, it's too difficult to deal with, and they don't have much set up on the bench. I can just get rid of that, throw that thing into the Lost Zone, and not have to worry about that, and then I can just start P-Blading for the rest of the game, just 170 over and over and over, potentially 200 with Choice Band. Very, very solid situation that can arise once you use Lugia's GX attack. And the rest of the deck is really, this is just an altered Necrozma Malamar deck that I tweaked in order to fit 3 Lugia in there. So, I mean, I changed a couple things. I mean, I added a couple Elm. I added a Field Blower just because of Spell Tag Giratina. That deck is pretty annoying. So just a way to not get completely screwed over by it. I mean, this deck still does, because let's be real, it's a Lugia deck, and this deck would just be infinitely better if it was straight up Necrozma Malamar. But you know what? I wanted to build a deck around Lugia-GX, and this is what I'm going with. This is the deck that you guys are getting, so yeah. But either way, just made a couple tweaks here and there, and just altered it from the original Necrozma Malamar deck. So let's just go ahead and hop into the lines of Pokemon and why we were running it. 3 Lugia-GX because it is the main attacker of this deck, and if our opponent knocks out 3 Lugia, then we lose anyway. 1 Oranguru for the Instruct ability, be able to just draw until we have 3 cards in our hand, very strong. 1 Malamar to be able to reuse attacks that we put into the discard pile from our attackers that we put into the discard pile, so I can get like 4 energy on it, and then I can P-Blade from Lugia, and then when I can't P-Blade the next turn, I can just go for a Prismatic Burst if the Marshadow lives through the turn. Just very versatile in what it's able to do and what attacks it's able to use from the discard pile. 2 Dawnwing's Necrozma-GX for the invade and retreat, but also in a pinch it works as a decent attacker because of Dark Flash and Moon's Eclipse GX. Then we have the engine of the deck in 4/4 of Inkay and Malamar for the Psychic Recharge, just to be able to get those energy out of the discard pile, attach them to our Mons. Lugia is very difficult to power up because of 4 energy, so this is just our way of working around that. And then this way, if we don't have like a Necrozma or something set up, we don't even have an Altar of the Moon, we can just discard the energy with Lugia and repower it back up with Malamar. So just a kind of cool situation that can arise right there. 1 copy of regular Necrozma-GX for the Prismatic Burst. 2 Lele, because Lele into Elm is pretty much the ideal start for this deck. And this deck is actually running a kind of low number of draw supporters, so maybe fit a couple Lily in there if you can, but I'll get to that in a second. 1 Escape Rope for just kind of a disruption, also potentially reset. P-Blade if you don't have Guzma for that turn, just be able to Escape Rope, get Lugia out of there, and then be able to bring it back in. Just a whole bunch of different situations that Escape Rope is nice for. 1 Field Blower, as I mentioned, Giratina and Spell Tag is really annoying, so I mean, I'm not sure if I want to run 1 or 2. I just kind of went with 1 because I didn't want to overdo it with 2 at this point, just because, I mean, I really haven't, I don't know, the meta hasn't fully developed, so I'm not sure how prominent Giratina and Spell Tag will be, so I just put 1 in there. That might come back to bite me if we end up facing that. However, I don't know, I felt like 1 was sufficient for the early meta from Lost Thunder. For the search, we have 4/4 of Mysterious Treasure and Ultra Ball, and if you were thinking of ways to change the deck for more supporters, I would maybe get rid of, like, I don't know, maybe 1 Mysterious Treasure for a Lily and then 1 Choice Band for like another Lily. So 1/1 of both of these, get rid of those for 2 more Lilies. But for the time being, just get the search, get the discarded Psychic Energy into the discard pile so that we can have access to it with Psychic Recharge. And so that's just ultimately what we were going with, 4/4 of Mysterious Treasure and Ultra Ball for the search, and also to throw energy into the discard pile. 1 Rescue Stretcher in order to recur our Pokemon. 3 Altar of the Moon for the free retreat, because like I said, P-Blade needs to be reset after we use it, so invade and retreat, just throw a Psychic Energy onto the Dawnwings, invade, retreat, and Lugia can P-Blade once again. 4 Cynthia for draw support, as well as 2 Tate and Liza. I believe it's Liza. I say Liza all the time, but really just it's kind of a dual option card, Tate and Liza, where you can either just draw 5 cards or you can switch your mon out. So it's just kind of a pseudo Guzma or escape rope, but not the Guzma, not the fact that you really use Guzma for more often than not. Just another way to reset P-Blade from Lugia for Guzma, because Guzma is amazing, to Professor Elm's lecture in order to set up our Inkays as quickly as possible, to Tate and Liza, like I said, for the draw and the switch, for Choice Band to boost our damage output as much as possible, because Lugia does need Choice Band in order to be able to OHKO a lot of different things, and then 12 Psychic Energy so that we can get those things into the discard pile as quickly and efficiently as possible. So yeah, that is the deck, and let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against a DVX CRVX, so I'm guessing that's like, I don't know, I'm just going to go with like the Roman translation and be like Ducks Cruise, because I think a Ducks Cruise would be pretty entertaining. But luckily we do win the coin flip, we do get to go first. We are up against a Psychic and Grass deck, and there's also a normal mon in there, but that might just be Oranguru. Unfortunately, I start off with a Lele, which is much less than ideal. I mean, Lele is definitely not the ideal starter, and we do see a C-Dot. So, okay, this is... So I think I'm just going to go ahead and Mysterious Treasure for a Lele. Never mind, it is prized. So that's one thing that I should have mentioned in the deck builder, is that I'm running 2 Lele. You are... I mean, while normally 2 Lele is just fine, like that's all you really... Like you don't normally need more than that. You do come across situations like this, where you start with Lele and your other Lele is prized. So it's just kind of like a, well, that sucks. And so now I'm in a situation where I don't have a draw supporter. I got 1 Inkay down. That is not nearly enough. And this is going to be, this is going to be a rough game, boys. It's going to be a rough game. But either way, my opponent does have C-Dot. So this is obviously a Shift Tree deck, which could actually be really problematic, as Shift Tree with a Choice Band is just able to one-hit KO everything that I run. I don't run anything... Oh, I mean, like, yeah, with the Choice Band and same hand size, he can OHKO everything. So that's going to be rough. I think my goal is to just have to try to keep him from being able to set up as much as possible, which, I mean, again, is easier said than done, especially because I don't have a good setup at all. And Lele will be able to attack next turn, but will not be able to one-shot a C-Dot with Energy Drive. So that's going to be unfortunate in and of itself, and especially because he's going to be able to get probably, well, I was going to say 3 C-Dot, but I mean, I guess the Morlo for the Shiinotic in order to be able to search out his Shift Trees, which, I mean, that makes sense. That's one way to run it, and I mean, if it helps with the consistency, then by all means. But he does go ahead and put a DCE onto his C-Dot, and please... Okay, so no supporter, just another energy, but what I actually can do, as long as my opponent doesn't guess that this is what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is Escape Rope, make him bring up something that, yeah, okay, I thought that he would just bring up the other C-Dot, like the other non-energy C-Dot, but if he knew what I was doing, then he could have brought up the C-Dot with the DCE so that I couldn't Guzma that thing up. So luckily for me, works out in my favor. I'm able to get rid of a DCE of his right off the bat, and I even draw into a Cynthia off of my prizes. So very solid first turn. I mean, I would really, really prefer to have, and of course he has a rare candy into a Shift Tree. Oh boy, this is going to be rough. But what I was saying is I'd really prefer to have a better setup, but yeah, now my opponent, I'm confused. This is not good. I have an Inkay. I could play an energy. Do I want to play another energy, or do I just want a Cynthia? I think I'm just going to go ahead and Cynthia for a fresh hand, see if I can get anything. Okay, I get a Necrozma. I get a Dawn Wings, and should I play the energy onto it? But I still don't have... Crap, how do I do this? So let's energy up the Necrozma. And then I think just try to... Yeah, because if I'm able to get this energy drive off, I will be able to knock the Shift Tree out with my GX attack from my Dawn Wings, but unfortunately that does not work out, so Lele does hit itself, And yeah, Perplex sucks. I hate Perplex as an attack. And my opponent also top decks into a Judge. On the bright side, he needs a Choice Band and a DCE in order to knock me out, which is relatively unlikely for him to draw off of 4 cards. Well, when we see the DCE, do we see the Choice Band? That's the ultimate question. But actually, I think if my opponent had the Choice Band, he would just go ahead and play it. So he clearly does not. He just hits me for 90 damage, and we move on. I still don't have a Lele, which is very unfortunate. So what I'm going to do is Ultra Ball, get rid of the Choice Band and the energy to grab an Oranguru just so I can, I don't know, so I can start getting some type of draw support going, because clearly my draw luck is not on my side, especially having that one Lele prized, and starting my other Lele put me in a very, very bad position. Ooh, I get a Tate Liza. So how do I want to do this? So what I can do is, do I want to play down the other Inkay? That's the first question. So I don't quite have enough energy in the discard pile for the knockout. Like to set up my, well, not even the knockout, just I don't have enough energy in the discard pile to power up my Necrozma for an attack. So there's a Lugia. I think what I'm going to do is, I might actually just hold on to the energy, and then let's retreat out, get an energy into the discard pile, because I don't want to knock myself out, give him 2 prizes, and then if he can match hand sizes the next turn, allow him to take another knockout. So yeah, I'm not taking the chance. I think I might just put up my Dawn Wings. Yeah, I think, actually, no, that was a bad play. What I should have done is just let Lele go down. Like, I really should have just let Lele get knocked out by the Shift Tree so that I could still have my Dawn Wings, still have my Choice Band, and now, with this coming turn, if my opponent's able to match hand sizes, then suddenly he's able to knock out my Dawn Wings, and I still have an insanely damaged Tapu Lele on the field. So yeah, that was, yeah, I just did not think that through much at all. I don't know, I was kind of between plays. I think I was half thinking like invade and retreat with Dawn Wings in order to get an energy into the discard pile, but also keep my Lele in the active. And of course my opponent has the Judge too, so that really, really sucks, because he will be able to knock out my Dawn Wings now. My Lele is still insanely damaged, like I said, and I'm in a very bad position. So what I actually think I'm going to do this coming turn is, might just have to go for my GX attack with Lugia, because I have it. Let's go ahead and do that. I could Ultra Ball for another Malamar, but at this point, I think it's just better to Cynthia for a fresh hand, maybe potentially draw into that. Well, I mean, I draw into means of getting it. So let's go ahead and Mysterious Treasure, get rid of, I think, the Ultra Ball, because I don't really need to search out much else for this game. Grab another Malamar, and Lele will be able to just manually retreat out. Like, that single energy cost is just fine. Let's go ahead and play the Choice Band onto the Lugia. Let's put, I can get a 200 damage attack off this coming turn if I want to. But I think because my opponent has absolutely nothing else set up at this point, I think the better play is to, well, I mean, I'm still going to power up Lugia, even though that might come back to bite me against Lele, but then again, he would have to put up the Lele in order to be able to attack. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and Lost Purge, actually, put Shift Tree and the DCE and the normal energy into the Lost Zone. So now my opponent has absolutely nothing set up. Yeah, he can potentially get a Shift Tree and confuse me, but I think this is a situation that I can deal with. Yeah, he does have the Shift Tree and the energy in hand, so he will be able to confuse me, and the Choice Band too. Well, and he has the Field Blower. Wow, that was just a perfect hand from my opponent. Very, very unfortunate right there. And he will be able to perplex me, which will be able to confuse me, and that really sucks. But what I think I'm going to do is actually probably just sacrifice my Lele at this point. Let's throw another energy onto the Lele so that I can hit that for 60. Let's Cynthia to see if I can get something else to work with. Ooh, I get the Altar of the Moon. So what I think I'm going to do, yeah, this isn't going to work out no matter how I want it. Like, I would like to get another energy onto Lele in order to knock out the Shiftry with P-Blade next turn, but I think at this point I'm just going to attack with Lele and then hope that I draw into a Choice Band in order to be able to knock out the Shiftry with P-Blade this coming turn. Because he'll be able to knock me out with Perplex easily, and at this point Lele is just kind of a liability. Yeah, I mean, he has the DCE, so that's good for me that I force him to attack into my Lele, just because, I mean, okay, the difference, 90, 180, it makes no difference how much damage he hits for on this turn. Lele is going to go down to a slight breeze anyway. So it's just kind of a situation where less than ideal, but I think I can work with it. And also what I can do is try to make my opponent play a little more of an odd prize game by attacking with... Yeah, attacking with Oranguru might be an option too. Because when he knocks out Lele, that's going to be 2 energy into the discard pile. If I don't have the Choice Band, which I don't, I mean, unless I top deck into it or somehow, like, top deck into an Ultra Ball so I can get rid of a bunch of stuff. What is he doing? Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, actually. Like, he just puts my Lugia in, and I top deck right back into it. All right, we take those. But yeah, all 4 energy are now in the deck. Maybe I should have just manually retreated before I played down Altar of the Moon, so I would still have those resources in the discard pile. So very good play by my opponent, just essentially eliminating my resources. And now I can go ahead and Elm for Inkay just to kind of thin out my deck a little bit. There's still a ton of energy in my deck. Well, I guess he did just shuffle 4 back in there. So let's play the energy onto Lugia, and then let's Energy Drive set up the KO this coming turn. And now the fact that Shiftry is almost knocked out means that I can actually attack with the Oranguru. And like I was saying about the odd prize game, if I attack with the Oranguru, then I will be able... Like, my opponent will take 2 prizes off the Lele this coming turn. If I attack with the Oranguru and knock him out, he will be forced to try to... Yeah, he'll be forced to try to Guzma in the Lugia and get a Choice Band in order to one-hit KO me. And if I knock out a Shiftry, then I think I can try to play around knocking out a second Shiftry, because Lugia will be able to one-shot a Lele, no questions asked. Just because, I mean, I don't need a Choice Band, don't need any sort of damage boosting, and he's actually going to go for Rescue Stretcher onto the C-Dot. I mean, I guess that makes sense, be able to try to get another Shiftry up. But because Psychic does 60 base, I think my opponent playing down that C-Dot might have just opened a door for me to potentially win the game. So, yeah, Lugia does have 2 energy retreat. That's very good for me in this situation because I do have free retreat thanks to Altar of the Moon. And, ooh, I get a Dawn Wings. So I'm definitely going to play that down so I can have the invade and retreat. But at this point, I think I'm just going to start attacking... Well, I'm just going to attack with a Oranguru, because I'll get 3 energy onto it. Then I can knock out the Shiftry and hopefully draw into another energy. I mean, my deck is a lot of energy at this point anyway. So odds are I'll be able to draw into that to play down onto the Dawn Wings. And then I still will have the 3 energy in the discard pile to Psychic Recharge in order for Malamar to power up Lugia to be able to attack. And there we go. I get Ultra Ball and Guzma. I can work with that. Take out the Shiftry. And my opponent puts up the C-Dot. So this could be... This could be a very good situation for me, because what I would do if my opponent manages to, like, I don't know, if he just attacks with Shiftry and confuses me, what I can do is manually retreat out. Well, actually, no, I can just invade with my Dawn Wings and then Guzma up the C-Dot again and knock it out with a Oranguru, because then that'd put me down to 2 prizes, and I can just knock out a Lele. Oh, he is going to Guzma. What's he Guzmaing up? Gonna Guzma up the Dawn Wings. I actually disagree with that. I very much disagree with the fact that he Guzma'd up the Dawn Wings, because you'd be able to knock that out in 1 hit from Shiftry anyway. I think you should have Guzma'd up the Lugia, because Lugia can avoid the 1-hit KO from Shiftry's Extrasensory thanks to my 190 HP. So you need a Choice Band in order to knock it out, and my ultimate goal is to finish off this game with Lugia. And yeah, because my opponent did bring up the Dawn Wings, I can Guzma up his C-Dot, and then I can knock this thing out with a Oranguru, which is absolutely incredible for me, because I think Ooh, I even get a Rescue Stretcher. Yeah, my Lele's in there, and I should still have a Guzma left in the deck, so I think I have this game... I think I have this game on lock at this point. Because all I have to do is let Oranguru get knocked out this coming turn. Like, once Oranguru gets knocked out, I promote my Dawn Wings, put, well, Psychic Recharge 3 times onto my Lugia with my Malamar, and then I'd be able to Guzma, play down the Lele, grab the Guzma up his Lele, and knock it out with Lugia. But he actually... Huh. He actually just goes for the Perplex... Oh, I mean, he couldn't have gone for the Extra Sensory, and we actually break through. So this even puts Shiftry in range of Lugia this coming turn anyway. Honestly, I was just waiting for Oranguru to get knocked out. Like, I did not need it to attack. Like, I did not need that damage off, unless he judged. But, I mean, he's used 2 or 3 judges at this point, so I just kind of had to hope that he wouldn't have it. And he does just Kukui. I guess just for the little bit extra damage. I mean, I guess he didn't need the Choice Band. He could also have had Kukui to knock out my Lugia. But he does play Sky Pillar, knocks out my Oranguru. But at this point, I do have the game. All I have to do is promote my Malamar. I will be able to Rescue Stretcher for a Lele of my own and Guzma. Or actually, I don't even need to anymore because I did draw into the Psychic Energy. But if I didn't, then I would be able to play the Rescue Stretcher, grab the Lele, put the energy onto my Lugia, and then Guzma up his Lele and knock it out in one hit with my Lugia. But my opponent does just scoop before that's allowed to happen, so I didn't even get to P-Blade with my Lugia. That is very unfortunate right there, but still that was a good game that, I mean, kind of showed off the deck. I mean, I still got to show off Lugia's GX attack, and that ended up actually kind of saving us the game because it forced my opponent into a situation where he couldn't just repeatedly Extra Sensory and take the game from me at that point. So yeah, think I'm going to call it there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you guys send me some ideas for other Lost Thunder decks. I have a Zeraora idea, Sceptile GX idea, obviously Lost March, because I mean that's a thing that is just going to be the new Night March. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't saturate the meta that much. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed watching once again. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.